I didn't. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Get some more beautiful weather. A little windy all of a sudden, but that's okay. Hello, Melissa. Good morning. Well, hi, everyone. We're just going to wait for a few more people to tune in. But we've got another exciting event for you today. Today's animal is actually celebrating. So before we even get started, I actually have a birthday shout out, not related to our animals. Happy birthday to our education curator, Carrie Hawthorne, who you usually hang out with in the mornings, who's moderating these talks. But it is her birthday today, so we want to send her lots of birthday love. And we're also going to send some birthday love to the animal we'll be meeting today. Now, her birthday was on Friday, and she turned 21. So let's see if you can guess where I am in the zoo if you've been here before. Coming to you live from sunny New Bedford, Massachusetts at the Buttonwood Park Zoo. I do have one hint for you today about which animal it is, and it's pretty tough, so I hope you guys can guess it. But I'm going to give you the scientific name of this animal. And we'll see if you can guess which animal it is based on its scientific name. Are you ready? It is Bison. All right, I'll give you a second to put your thinking caps on, see if you can figure out which of our animals has the scientific name Bison. I have a feeling that you might guess it. For what it's worth, this animal does have my favorite name of any animal at the zoo. Not for nothing, it is also my name. So maybe I could be a little biased there. That's a possibility, I suppose. Any guesses? I know sometimes we have a little bit of a lag on our comments. Anybody think they know who we're meeting today? Good morning, everyone. All right. Logan, you nailed it. Today we are going to be meeting Sarah the Bison. So let me turn this around. You can see this beautiful birthday setup we've got. And of course, our wonderful keeper, Katie's going to be helping us again today. So, not my 21st birthday, sadly, but it is Sarah the Bison's 21st birthday. So today we're going to be meeting Sarah the Bison, and Katie's going to tell us all about this wonderful creature. So take it away.
All right, so we're going to be letting her out in just a minute, and she's going to be getting her birthday treats. So yeah, she did turn 21 on Friday, so she was born on May 1st, 1999. So this is a big number for her. Bison tend to live anywhere from about 15 to 20 years, and she is 21, so she's getting up there. But in all these boxes and bags, there's some hay, there is some melon pieces, there's also some alfalfa cubes, and some bamboo branches. So she loves all of those things. And bison are herbivores, so everything she is eating today is some type of plant or vegetation. There's no meat involved. So I think we are ready to let her out and let her come over and get all of her fun stuff. So let me just call someone to do that.
Sounds good. And while she's calling for Sarah to be let out, I do have to give a shout out. Melissa, our fabulous intern, is absolutely right. Today is also Gladys, the guinea hog's birthday. She is 11. So May is just the time to be around here at the zoo. Everybody's having a birthday.
Did you say today?
Today.
Oh.
So there we go. We got a bunch of birthday celebrations. All right. So Katie just radioed one of our other fabulous keepers, which means it's only a matter of time before our beautiful Bison comes to join us.
Yep. She was in her barn, so I was able to go out and exhibit and set everything up, and she should be. There she is.
There she is. She's coming.
You'll see her in a second.
Excellent. Catherine, what a great question. Why are we wearing masks? We are wearing masks to protect ourselves and our animals from the COVID-19 virus that's going around right now. So we're just taking every precaution to make sure that our animals and our staff stay nice and safe. Plus, we got to rep them. They say NB on them for New Bedford. Got to stay nice and proud. And here's the birthday girl. a very...
She's eating the alfalfa cubes right now that are scattered on the ground.
I don't know if you can quite see it with my little camera here, but we do have something. What is that spelling out? 21.
It did say 21, but some of the geese ruined it, so...
Oh dear, yeah, we're sharing a little bit here with some very pesky waterfowl who we also love, but... That's a great question, Rain. Where does she get let out from?
So it's kind of around the corner, but she does have a barn. The inside of the barn is kind of a off exhibit space that members of the public can't see. But when you guys do or are able to come back to the zoo, her barn, I guess if you were over near the lynx exhibit, you might be able to see that structure, but you can only see a little bit of it.
Excellent. Oh, Kelly, absolutely. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but yes, Calgary's birthday is also in May, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a birthday party for him as well. So good memory. I'm impressed.
Yes.
You guys are on top of this.
A week from today is his birthday, and I'll be doing it, and we're going to have a big party.
Excellent.
I bought birthday hats.
Okay, excellent. We'll have birthday hats for that one. Not super smart to try and put birthday hats on the wild animals, just as a public service announcement to everyone. That's why they're not wearing birthday hats, but we do try to be as festive as possible. And if you have any questions, please feel free to send them in and we'll get to them as soon as we can. In the meantime, we're just going to enjoy watching Sarah eat through all of her birthday presents. And you have any other fun facts you want to share with us?
Yep, so right now Sarah weighs about almost 1,000 pounds. She's just under 1,000 pounds, so that's a big animal. And she is a female. Male bisons can get a lot larger than that. Males can almost get up to a ton, so that's 2,000 pounds. That is a large animal. And bison are actually the heaviest North American mammal, so that's really cool to imagine how big they are, and we have them here.
Excellent. Chris, thank you so much for your donation. I'm sure Sarah appreciates it greatly. That's all the more alfalfa cubes for her.
Yeah. Is she gonna open a box yet? She's trying to get all the treats first before she digs in.
Excellent. Now Rebecca, one of our very favorite little friends, has a question. How old can they live up to?
So they can live into their 20s, but the average is about 15 to 20 years in the wild. In captivity, they can live a little bit longer, but I would say 20s is the maximum.
Thank you so much, Evan. We really appreciate your donation. And again, we do have a very large amount of what we call geriatric animals, so animals who are sort of towards the end or even past that expected life range. So we're very, very lucky to have this majestic creature with us celebrating her 21st birthday, even though in wild they're usually 15 to 20 years old. So we're very, very lucky.
Yep, she's doing really well. She doesn't act like an old animal at all.
Kaiden was wondering if you could refresh our memory on how much she weighs.
She's just under 1,000 pounds. I think she was like 996 pounds, her last weight.
Excellent. Oh, hi, Leilani. Leilani, age 3, wants to know who named her.
I don't know that. She must have come here with that name, and she came here when she was just about, I believe, 2 months old, and I'm not sure if she came here with that name or if she got the name when she came here. But that was a long time ago. That was 21 years ago.
There we go. I would love to pretend that I named her after myself, but that is not the case. So I'm just very lucky to share a name with her. How much does she weigh? Again, a wonderful question. So almost 1,000 pounds. Carrie, our other birthday girl, is wondering, are they endangered?
So bison currently are not endangered, but they are a near threatened species. But back in the 1800s, there were, or even before that, there were estimates of maybe like 40 to 60 million of them in North America, and they roamed from Alaska all the way down to Mexico, just until the 1800s, when the settlers, European settlers, started to expand west in the United States. They were exploring, they wanted to find new land, and they found all these bison, and what they did was hunt them, and they hunted them for not even for food, but for sport, just for the fun of it. So they basically almost exterminated this animal. So maybe the late 1880s, 1890s, there was about 20 or so left in Yellowstone, and with a lot of captive breeding and conservation, they have rebounded. So now there's about 500,000 of them that now exist, either in national parks like Yellowstone or on other public lands like refuges, or even privately owned. So they're doing good now, but they still need a lot of help from people. But they'll probably not get back to those numbers when they were like in the millions and millions of bison.
Absolutely, and that's one of the best things about AZA zoos, so zoos that are accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, is that we have a huge part to play in species survival plans and making sure that animals that are in danger of going extinct are properly rebred and hopefully re-released into the wild. So AZA had a lot to do with bringing the American bison back from the brink of extinction, so we're very proud of that.
That was the Bronx Zoo in the early 1900s. They were one of the first zoos to work with bison and do captive breeding and then help release them back into the wild.
Excellent. Beth, thank you so much for your donation. And also, let's answer that question. How do we weigh Sarah?
That's a good question. So for a long time, we were not able to weigh her because she's very nervous of new things. So just imagine trying to get a bison to step on a scale. It's really hard to do that, especially since we don't share the same space as her. So I can't just go in the exhibit with her and have her step on a scale because they can be dangerous to humans. So it was just with a lot of training and positive reinforcement. We have kind of a rectangular board that she'll stand on, and we usually set it up in the barn where it's easier for us to get food reward to her for stepping on the board. And under that board is the scale. So just by it took a long time, but it didn't just automatically happen to get her to put all 4 feet on the scale. But just with lots of treats and just over multiple sessions, we finally were able to get her to put all 4 feet on the scale, and we're able to get a number, get her weight. So we do that just about every month. Sometimes she doesn't really want to step on the scale, and that's okay. We'll just try it again another time. So there might be like a month that we don't end up getting a weight, but usually she's pretty good about it now that she's used to it. She knows she's not going to get hurt by standing on this board. So yeah, it was a slow process, but it was great training for her.
Excellent. And that actually leads in really nicely to Kaiden's question. So we're giving her those treats as a reward. What is her favorite food?
She likes a lot of things. So I brought a bucket over with a bunch of treats so you guys can see. I would say one of her favorite treats are these, which are alfalfa cubes, which she has a couple out there, and some melon. This is just, she doesn't get this all the time, but she does like it. And then these little things are leaf eater biscuits that we feed to our red pandas, but we also give it to other herbivores as well. So these are a couple of her favorite treats. She does like a lot of other types of produce, like carrots or sweet potato or grapes. And she also likes browse, which are actually tree branches that we'll give to like our bison and our elephants and horses. And they're just branches for them to eat the leaves off, and sometimes they'll strip the bark. So Sarah also really likes that. Willow or even bamboo she really likes. So there's a lot of things she likes to eat. And her hay, she'll never not want to eat hay.
It's a good reliable one. Tegan is wondering, how did we get her?
So she came, I don't know the name of the place she flew from, but it was a private owner. I don't know the name of it though.
Excellent. Now Kelly's got a great question. Would she get along with a different but similar animal if they shared an enclosure?
It depends on the animal. So we, in the past, have had white-tailed deer in here with our bison, and for the most part, they got along, but they kind of just kept to each other. I never really saw them interacting that much, but this exhibit was big enough for them. If they could get away from each other if they needed to, but I never really saw any bad interactions.
That's cute.
And in the wild, like in the prairie, the Great Plains, they do share their habitat with other herbivores like pronghorn antelope or mule deer, so they do know what other animals are. She has a bunch of waterfowl friends in here that she doesn't really pay any mind to.
Hanging out right down here, absolutely. All right,
Come closer, so I'll throw her some treats so you guys can get a good look at her.
Amanda gets bonus points for asking the question we were hoping someone would ask, which is, what is the difference between buffalo and bison?
Good question. So you're not really wrong if you call a bison a buffalo. It's just like they're scientifically called bison, but you can call them buffalo. A lot of people do. She's like, I don't want what you have. But the real buffalo species live in Africa and Asia, and those would be the Cape buffalo or the water buffalo. And they look a little bit different than what a bison looks like. They are still a type of cow species, or a bovid. Their heads are differently shaped. The true buffalo's horns are a lot longer, and they don't have the characteristic hump that bison do. You can't really see right now, but if she turns to the side, you can see that the tallest point on her is her like shoulders, that hump area.
Excellent. Chris, I love this question. How does she respond to interactions with her keepers? Does she like back scratches?
I don't know if she would like it if we tried to touch her. I think she would just move away. She does kind of get scared pretty easily if we like tried to reach out towards her. So that's why training with her sometimes takes a little while. Yeah, for such a large animal, she can be kind of a scaredy cat.
Oh dear.
So no, we've never really tried that. It would be really cool. We can hand feed her, usually through the fence or the mesh. She'll take food from our hand. But yeah, touching her anywhere else, she usually would run away or just move away so we can't reach her.
We love her even though she's a little bit of a scaredy cat. That's all right. Pam is wondering where the majority of bisons are located.
So they are found in pretty much every single state, but they're not found in like huge herds. A lot of where they're found now are on like private lands, like farmers have them for like meat consumption. But the largest herd, I believe, is in Yellowstone. That's like a wild and free herd. They're not limited by any fences. And there are about 3,000 or 4,000 bison there right now.
Just another public service announcement. If you ever do go to Yellowstone and you see one of these, should you approach them and pet them?
No, no, they may seem very gentle and calm, but they're gigantic animals and they can move really quickly. They can run up to 35 miles an hour. And
oh my goodness.
Much faster than a human, so if they wanted to chase you and hit you, they would.
Okay.
So yeah, it's recommended to never approach one, even if they just seem to be laying down and not caring that you're coming over to them. So always view your wildlife at a safe distance.
Excellent, thank you. Logan, age 8, is wondering if she's ever had any babies.
I believe she has. It was before my time here at the zoo when she had calves, but I think she has had at least 2.
That's pretty cool. You know any fun facts about bison babies?
Yes. So, when they're born, they don't have this dark brown coat like an adult bison does. So they have kind of a reddish orange coat, and they, for some reason, are called red dogs. They can be called that because of the color of their coat. I know they're not dogs though. They kind of play around like a dog. They can be about 30 to 70 pounds when they're born, and they can get up after a few hours and they're ready to walk around and run with the herd because they have to. They're very vulnerable when they're that young.
That's amazing. Those are some extreme babies.
Yeah.
Now this is a very cool question from Scott, who's wondering if First Nation or Native Americans were ever able to use bison as riding or work animals.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I think a lot of what Native Americans used bison for was like their fur or their meat, but I don't know about riding or as work animals. They are kind of hard to domesticate. It takes a long time to domesticate an animal. I know there are bison that live semi-domesticated on farms, but they're still kind of wild, so I don't know if you could ever really ride one, but that would be interesting. So I don't know the answer to that.
I'd be very scared to be the first person to try that, let me tell you that much. Kaiden, do not worry, this is not one of the last keeper chats. We're gonna continue to come here and keep you entertained every morning at 11. Don't you worry. We love having you guys here with us. Now, I might have a bit of a lag. It does seem like maybe we're at the end of our questions, so I'm gonna let you continue to watch Sarah plow through her birthday treats, and we'll give you a few minutes to ask more questions or to allow my phone to catch up with you a little bit. Diana, I completely agree. She is one of the most majestic creatures I've ever seen. Although I'm afraid you've got a little bit of a back view right now, which is a little bit less than ideal, but that's all right.
Maybe she'll turn once she's done with that box. That's the smallest box.
Now, do you want to tell us really quickly just some of the friends we've got in the same shot right now?
Right in front of her, these 3 geese are our nenes, and that blackbird that's behind them is actually a wild black vulture. They've been hanging out here since the winter time, and they keep coming back because they're trying to steal food from some of our animals.
A little opportunistic and certainly not minding the lack of humans, so I guess the vultures are getting a good silver lining here.
But everything that Sarah's eating right now, the vultures don't really eat, so they're just hoping that maybe there's something in their neighborhood, but they don't really eat hay or anything like that.
Another interesting question. So Beth is wondering if she's shedding or if she's always kind of two-toned in color.
Yeah, she has started to shed. You can kind of see it around her tail. There's some bare patches of skin showing. But yeah, the front of the bison is kind of a darker brown, and then it's lighter as you get to the back. But when she's completely done shedding, she'll still have the fur kind of on the front half of her body, but then the end towards her hind legs and her tail will be more bare, just because they have so much fur they need to shed and in the summertime they'll be way too warm to have all of that fur on them. So you can even see it around her face. There's some chunks of fur that are kind of dangling that will come off soon, and we'll actually save the fur that she sheds and give it to other animals because it just has a great smell.
Some good enrichment.
Sometimes the pieces she sheds are just so gigantic that I want to give it to another animal to enjoy it.
Great question, Scott. Do the adults play, and what is their favorite behavior or thing to do besides eating? Which I think you nailed the favorite thing, but
they do a lot of eating. That's pretty much one of the biggest things they'll do during the day, eating and sleeping. I don't think the adults play too much because they live in pretty big herds. The females will live with their young, their calves, and maybe some older males. And I think most of the time they're either eating or sleeping, or they're watching out for any predators that might come and want to attack their young. So I don't think they play too much. Sometimes we'll see Sarah playing with some of the toys we'll give her, or we'll see her like romping around the exhibit when she's in a good mood. And sometimes that happens after it snows. She likes a good fresh snow. But the young calves are more likely to be the ones playing, and that's kind of typical of most animals, I would say.
I was going to say, I think
the young play more.
We've talked in some previous ones, and I'm sure we'll touch on it more, that play behavior is often a way for them to learn behaviors that they'll use later in life, like how to escape predators or mating or fighting or things like that. So it's more important that the young ones play to get those skills. But certainly it is fun to watch her romp around and play with some of the enrichment.
It's really cool to watch.
Leilani's got our favorite question. Who is Sarah's favorite keeper?
I don't know if she has a specific favorite keeper, but there are a couple of keepers that work with her that she sees really often, so I think she recognizes us more than the other keepers. But also whoever has the food that is being tossed over, she loves them.
Excellent. And it looks like we've got one last question from Kelly, which is she ever vocal?
Yes, she tends to kind of grunt when she wants things. So if she's on exhibit and I'm walking by and she wants something to eat, she'll grunt. The males can bellow. I don't really know exactly what it sounds like, but they usually do that when, like, during breeding season, when they're challenging other males or trying to show off for females. They'll do this really deep bellow. But yeah, it's mostly grunting with her. They don't moo like a cow does.
A bit different. Well, hopefully, friends, when you get to come back, you'll get a chance to hear Sarah grunt a little bit.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty adorable to me. And until then, we're gonna leave you today with another big happy birthday to Sarah the bison, to Gladys the guinea hog, and of course to Carrie the human education curator.
Yeah,
happy
happy
birthday,
birthday, Carrie.
to all these wonderful friends that we've got here at the Buttonwood Park Zoo. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you continue to tune in at 11 a.m. every morning for our BPZoo to You virtual keeper chats. And if you're enjoying them and you want to find a way to give back, please consider giving us a donation. The Buttonwood Park Zoological Society is the nonprofit branch of the Buttonwood Park Zoo, and we rely on admissions, events, all sorts of programs like that for our funding. So right now, being closed is a little bit of a bummer, and we would greatly appreciate any donations either by texting BPZoo20 to the number 41444 or by clicking the donate button below. Thank you so much for your continued support. Happy birthday, Sarah, and have a wonderful day, everyone.